PvP in Tower Fantasy is so broken, unpolished, and not fun to play. So after playing a couple hundred games to reach the Grand Marshal rank of the Apex Legionnaire server, I noticed one weapon that actually stood out among the rest: Meryl's Rosy Edge. As a passionate PvP player myself, well, at least in my previous games, it got me curious as to why this weapon is used in almost every match that I fought against. Like, literally about 90% or so of the matches. And so this led me into doing some investigation and running some tests where I have found some really weird inconsistencies that could possibly be one of the causes of some sort of imbalance in PvP and in the game in general. My investigation led me into testing other related things further. And in this video, we're not only gonna talk about the Rosy Edge but also other possibly bugged skills, simulacras, and relics. These are things that I would consider game breaking. So in this video, I'm gonna show you some of my findings that show the inconsistencies in the game mechanics. More specifically, on the different types of immunity: Hitstun, Hyperbody, and Immune to crowd control. So first things first, let's take a look at Meryl. Meryl's Whirlwind is one of the strongest normal attack being used right now in PvP because of its huge damage, high shatter, and seemingly uncontrollable nature. According to the skill's description, it provides Hitstun immunity. But the question is, what really is Hitstun immunity in Tower Fantasy? Since there's no clear definition that can be found in the game, let's do some tests. So here, we will be testing Magnetic Pulse's A0 effect, which grants 5 seconds Hitstun immunity. First, we will be testing the knock-up effect of Cybernetic Arms without the use of any relics or skills. So you can see the knock-up worked. Next, we will see what will happen after using Magnetic Pulse and getting hit by the Cybernetic Arms. Clearly, there was no knock-up effect. Now, let's do a stun test using the Thunderous Halberd. And that is without the use of Magnetic Pulse. What if we use Magnetic Pulse? Can we still be stunned? Let's see. And yes, we got stunned. And here, you can see that the freeze status also works on Magnetic Pulse. The slow of Nemesis bubbles also seems to be working. And also, please do take note that there's no yellow aura indication on the character when using this Magnetic Pulse. You can also see the buff icon near your health bar. So in summary, the A0 effect of Magnetic Pulse, Hitstun immunity, cannot be knocked up. However, it is not immune to stun, freeze, Nemesis slow, and also, there is a buff tooltip shown but no yellow aura indicator. However, in the case of Meryl's Whirlwind, Hitstun immunity seems to be working differently. It cannot be stunned, it cannot be slowed, it cannot be frozen, it cannot be knocked up. There is also a yellow aura but it does not have the Hitstun immunity tooltip near the HP bar. So why does Hitstun immunity have different effects on these two? Is it a bug or just a simple case of mistranslation? But before I give you my thoughts on this, let me just show you more of these types of inconsistencies in the game. For example, the Pummeler's A1 effect gives a Hyperbody effect upon switching to the weapon. It shows a yellow aura as well as the Hyperbody tooltip. As for the effect, it also cannot be knocked up, but can still be stunned and frozen. It can even be slowed by Nemesis Bubble. However, Crow's Returning Blade's Hyperbody is a different version. After seeing this, I honestly don't know anymore. To summarize, NS Hyperbody behaved like Magnetic Pulse A0, and Crow's Returning Blade behaved like Meryl's Whirlwind despite having the same Hyperbody effect in their description. We also did some tests on the term immune to control on different situations. NS Focus Smash, A2 Magnetic Pulse, Rosy Edge A6 Switching, Blizzard, Frigg Simulacra Awakening, and Coco Ritter's A3 Sanctuary. I will not be showing the entire test anymore to keep this video short, but I will share the results so that you can also replicate the test to confirm. However, I'm gonna show you some of the weirdest things that I noticed. Coco Ritter's A3 Sanctuary's immune to control is immune to knock-up, stun, slow, and etc. The same goes for Meryl's A6 Switching and Blizzard. However, with the Pummeler's Focus Smash, it was clearly mentioned that it grants both immunity to all control effects and Hyperbody while charging. In the case of Magnetic Pulse, it is a combination of the A0 Hitstun immunity and A2 immunity to control effects. It gets more and more confusing if you base it on Coco Ritter and Meryl's immune to control. Because why is there a need to put immune to control together with these effects if it is immune to almost everything already in the first place? Are we missing something? To be honest, I'm not sure anymore. In fact, even alternate destinies Hitstun immunity shows Hyperbody effect in the tooltip. In case you didn't notice, Hyperbody's definition here is even different from Crow and the Pummeler's tooltip definition. So, here are the results of our tests. In my opinion, at least one of these things we have tested is bugged. It might not have been felt for a long time now, and maybe some people just accepted it as normal. But I really don't think so. I fear that these inconsistencies have been affecting the gaming experience of players, maybe not so much in PvE, but surely a lot in PvP. For example, is Meryl's Whirlwind Hitstun immunity supposed to be immune to almost everything? What about the immune to control effect? Is it supposed to have the knock-up immunity as well? If that's the case, then why is it included in Hyperbody effect in some instances, which was defined by alternate destiny as immune to launch and knockback? So here's my final take. Number 1, the inconsistencies in the description and the effects clearly show how unpolished the game is right now. You might actually be using skills, weapons, and relics that do not match the intended features when the game developers made them. Number 2, if all of these can be clarified, then maybe something will change. For example, in PvP, if Whirlwind indeed only gives Hitstun immunity and not an almost total immunity, then maybe it won't be as bad as it is right now. Maybe there will be a chance for other weapons to also shine in PvP and not only Meryl in almost every game. And third, for me, the intended effect of Hitstun immunity is only to counter the stagger or flinching effect when getting attacked. Hyperbody, on the other hand, is maybe to counter knock-up and knockback as defined in the alternate destinies tooltip definition. For the immune to control, maybe it's just to counter the stun, freeze, and electrocution and not everything. But of course, we don't really know because the game does not even define them properly. And lastly, just to let you know, I also created this video as part of my report to Tower Fantasy and also to let the community know about this. I am hoping that we can get more information and inputs from other players so that we can send our feedback and help the game improve. So, if you're still watching up to this point, please feel free to let us know your thoughts and how you feel about this. And that will be all, and thank you very much for watching. See ya!